Hello, I think we are officially live here. Hello for Peg City Soundoff and very special guest today with Excuses. Excuses, how you guys doing?
Good, good. How are you?
Doing awesome, awesome. Thank you for taking the time. I know you guys are really busy. You got a little break in the tour and then you're going right back out soon. So thanks for taking the time to talk to us here. I do want to shout out really quick our sponsor for the month for Peg City Soundoff is Prairie Alchemist. That's a restaurant out in St. Malo, and they are an absolutely great sponsor, great restaurant. Hoping to get out there soon for a soup and a sandwich, definitely. So shout out to them.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So you guys, hey, thanks again for taking the time to talk with me. You guys got a big show coming up June 7th at the Handsome Daughter.
This is true.
4 bands. Very excited for that.
Yeah, me too. We love Winnipeg, so it's always nice to come back.
Yeah, and you played the Handsome Daughter a couple of times, so we'll get to
Yeah.
that. But you guys are from you're from Oshawa, or at least the band was formed in Oshawa, from what I understand.
Yeah. So two of us live in Oshawa, Ontario. Jason lives just about 40 minutes out of the city, just north. So we're technically, Oshawa based.
Perfect. Okay, and there's a start to our introduction. So we got Jason.
So yeah, Jason plays drums. I'm Kyle. I sing and play guitar.
And then Trevor played bass.
Awesome. Well, you guys have a lot of energy for a 3-piece band up there. I've seen you a couple times, and yeah. Excuses always brings it. I could definitely say that for sure. So why don't you talk about maybe forming the band a little bit, Tor? I know that I don't know exactly when the band formed. I know that you had a single come out in September of 2018, maybe I think was Cigarettes and Pizza, I think, or
Yeah. So Pizza and Cigarettes came out around 2018.
oh wait, sorry.
We had actually formed in Kingston, Ontario.
Great place.
And that would have been 2016, I want to say. Yeah, 2016. We were all going to school there, university and college. So that's where we actually met Jason. Before that, Trevor and I have been best friends since we were 3 years old. So I've known him forever. And we played in a band in high school together, which was kind of like our first go at music. We really, honestly, we didn't know what we were doing at the time. Like, didn't even really play instruments. I had just kind of started to learn to play guitar, and Trevor was like, "We should start a band. Like, it'd be really cool to be in a band." And I'm like, "What? Okay, sure." So then here we are. We did that for several years, and yeah, I met Jason in 2016, and it's just been kind of growing since.
Yeah, and you guys have really been rolling since then. Like, yeah, I know that I think Mind Over Matter came out in 2019, and just been going on ever since then. Hardship to Sail, great album that you toured with for a while, if I'm not mistaken. They were finally starting to see a new single now, but you went for a good amount of time with that album. It's a great album.
Yeah. I mean, it was kind of weird because it came out in COVID, right? So I mean,
exactly.
Never really got the chance that it deserved, or we felt that way anyways, because it did okay. Like it did fine, but it was just like, when it first came out, like we couldn't tour shows or anything. We could, like it was like, in Ontario, it was like 25% cap on venues, right? So like, you couldn't really do anything proper to promote it or get it out to the public. So
no, for sure. Winnipeg's. Oh, go ahead, sorry.
We leaned on it for a little while because it was just that, we wanted to get it out there and actually have the opportunity to do that.
Yeah, let it get its legs, right? Let it grow. No, I definitely appreciate that. Like I said, it's a great album, so it translates live very well, I would say.
Yeah, thanks.
So you guys, like I was saying, you were just touring Ontario, and one thing I did want to talk with you guys was tattoos a bit. I saw that you guys have a tradition of going down to, I believe it was Showdown Tattoos, and getting some ink done. So I want to talk to you about that a bit.
Yeah, so my aunt lives in Edmonton, which is really nice because when we get, usually we'll plan like our days off to be here, because then we at least get like a proper house and proper showers and beds and stuff, and you're not paying for hotels. So it's super nice. And we've, like, I don't know how we
It was
started.
my idea.
Yeah, I think it was your idea. But yeah, just at one point in time, our first time out here, he was just like, "We should go get tattoos," and we're like, "Are you serious?" And he said, "Yeah, let's go get some tattoos on our day off." So every time we come here, we go to the same place, and like we didn't pick Showdown for any specific reason. I don't remember in the beginning. It was just like we were looking up, play because we're not from here, right? So we were just looking up.
Yeah, no, exactly.
That seemed good and would actually take a walk in. And we went there. They had some pretty good flash sheets going on.
Okay.
So we went for it, and we just do it every time now.
Yeah, that was the third.
Well, I was gonna say you don't know why you went there first, but you keep going back, so obviously you're doing something
Well,
right over
we
there.
become kind of friends with the people at the shop, so it's kind of nice. We'll just chill there and hang out with them for most of the day and talk about music and enjoy the time. So I'll show you. I got a frog.
Yeah.
So funny story is this tattoo artist here who works there is trying to do 100 of these frogs on people. So
Wow.
I think I was number 46. But he's like, yeah, I'll do it. Like, I'll do it for like $100 if you just let me do a frog on you. I'm like,
just let me do it, basically. Yeah.
And then I also
Right.
got a little skull guy there.
Rad.
Nice.
And then Trevor, show him yours. You're gonna have to try a little harder than that, buddy.
Dog.
Bulldog.
Oh, nice.
Well, yeah, it's kind of hard to see. And then,
Nice. Yeah, I really like the style they're using down there.
Yeah. And Jay's got a Mothman.
Yeah.
Jay's intrigued with the story of the Mothman.
It's just a black blob right now, but
It looks rough because it's got all the second skin on it, and he's a bleeder.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, it's just full of blood and plasma under there right now.
Awesome. Well, that's a really cool tradition that you got there. Is that something that's been going for a couple of years now, or you've been down there a few times, or
Yeah, this is the third time we've done
So
it.
now it's officially.
third time? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So one thing with your last album, I noticed, even really with Mind Over Matter, just your music in general, a lot of your songs do have kind of either a story or an inspirational message, or just some kind of message to them. There's not too many of them from what I've listened to that. I mean, maybe pizza and cigarettes. Sorry, it's more of a simple one, but yeah, maybe talk about your writing process a little bit. Or I know like songs like "Hardship to Sail" or "Meaning of Life," "Say" even, or they kind of seem to have a message to them, their own message to them too.
Yeah, they do. I definitely like to write songs that can actually resonate with people and make people feel something beyond just party songs and that kind of stuff. Like, enough people are doing that. I've always wanted to create something that actually could possibly help somebody at some point. So we like to write a lot about mental health, and like you said, a lot of the times they have this kind of like uplifting theme in the end. So it can be a very dark topic, but in the end it kind of pulls it back around and gives some sort of positivity off to encourage our listeners. But I mean, writing process wise, honestly, every song's kind of different, right? I mean, naturally, when the inspiration comes, like, you're not really like, you don't always control when that's going to happen. Like, sometimes, sure, I'll sit down and be like, okay, I'm going to write today. This is what I want to write about. And you write it. But every once in a while, like, some of the best parts and best songs just kind of come out like randomly, without you even being very prepared for it. And I do like to do a lot of co-writes I have some friends in Toronto. My one really close friend's name is Roseanne Baker Thornley. And she's, she used to tour in like the 80s and stuff. But she's just a fantastic songwriter, but like writes more like singer-songwriter-y kind of stuff, right? So it's kind of fun. She's taught me a lot. Like, we've been working together for years. And so some of the songs, like, I wrote Hardship to Sail and Say were actually both with her on that record.
Oh, nice. Okay. Great songs.
And My Nicotine as well. So we do a lot of writing together, which is fun. I really enjoy co-writing. Some people knock it pretty hard.
I can imagine, yeah.
I don't understand why, because it's like you're learning new things. Like
Exactly.
you're working with somebody who might not, think of things in the same way as you do.
That's what it is. Yeah.
There's always so much like they might do something to get to the same spot. They might do something entirely different to do that. And it's great to pick up on those things, because then you have that in your bag of tricks, right? And you can use that for yourself later on. So I would say in general, I have the lyrics and the melodies written before we kind of do it as a band, and like try to put it all together. Not always, but most of the time, I would say that's how it goes. Usually I like to leave a couple parts out, and but I just like to have an idea going in, so we're not just wasting time and just trying to play, but then
definitely.
Yeah, then when we get together, that's when we kind of write the actual music of it, and see kind of, I'll be like, hey, like, what do you guys think? Because I write a lot actually on an acoustic guitar, so I just don't always have the like licks and stuff like that, the riffs.
Yeah, a song can kind of have 2 or 3 different feels depending on what you're playing.
Yeah, like there was one we were writing a little while ago, and I intended it to be an entirely different sounding song than it turned out as. But as soon as I showed it to Jay, like, he just started playing drums in a way that I was like entirely not expecting, but it was super cool, right?
Yeah, and you kind of mentioned this, but it's just good in that creative process. Sometimes you get really focused as well, because you're so important to you. Obviously, it's good to have someone to bounce things off of or go back and forth. Like you said, do something you wouldn't even thought of. So
yeah, exactly. And I mean, these guys, like, we've been writing songs together for a long time. So I mean, it's it helps me a lot to have the same people there to bring these things to life, because they know kind of what I would expect, and kind of what the sound is just in general supposed to be, right? So
yeah. And sticking with this theme, so when did you write Far From Perfect? That might be one of my favorite songs from you guys, Far From Perfect. It kind of came out between what you're working on now and Hardship to Sail, if I'm not mistaken. But I don't know.
It came out right before the record.
Oh, it came out before the record. Okay, I'm mixed up then. I'm sorry.
Yeah, just like, because we hadn't, so we had signed to Known Accomplice Records, which, nice shirt, Texas King, they're on there too. They're good friends of ours.
Yeah, they're great. That's the last time I was at the Handsome Daughter, actually, this season. So, yeah, shout out to them. They're fantastic.
Really great guys too. Like, we've known them for years. So,
yeah.
But yeah, so we signed to the same label as they're on now, to put that record out. We had gotten one of those Factor grants back in the sound recording grants back in like 2019. Yeah. So we actually recorded
right before the pandemic.
Dude, it sucked. Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I guess.
Yeah.
This is what's going on now.
But anyway, sorry, you said you recorded.
Yeah, so we recorded that record on our own, like not on our own, like with a producer, but we funded it with that Factor money and our own money, and then we licensed it to the label. But because we hadn't done a release with them yet, and it had been, because of COVID, it had been a couple years then at that point since we had put anything out. Because like, honestly, we sure, lots of people did well in COVID, but it seemed kind of pointless to be putting music out between like 2020 and 2022 anyway.
If the point is you're a touring band, I mean, that's kind of your guys' thing, or a lot of local bands, that's going to be their thing, is local shows or touring or whatever it is. So yeah, I can get that.
So Far From Perfect was like okay, we had the record and the labels, like, I think we need like a bridge track to kind of bring you back onto the online thing and just get the steam rolling a little bit. So that's what we did. I wrote that one. That one happened fast. Yeah. Cause like we didn't have a lot of time. They were like, the idea just kind of popped out of them. They're like, okay, we're going to do this. And we're like, oh, okay.
Write a song. And
they're like, it has to sound kind of like the record, but not exactly. I'm like, okay. Cool.
Well, that makes sense. That's why I asked, because I was thinking like that really could have been on that record, but it was released. I thought it was a little after, but you said it was a little bit before. I'm sorry, but yeah.
Yeah, no. We recorded it after.
It fits in.
We recorded it after, right? So it like
yeah.
so it was kind of odd for us to put it out in that order. But yeah, it was fine. I love that song. So
yeah, it's, like I said, it might be my favorite one from you guys. I really love that song.
Yeah.
And you got a new song out too. So May 23rd, you had a new single finally come out, Paralysis.
Yeah.
Very excited to hear that. Great tune. I've been listening to it over and over.
Thank you.
Is there anything now that you're finally writing and actually putting out a single? Is anything different about kind of the process of it, or a little bit different now that you're not kind of having COVID looming over you? Or
Yeah, I mean that's really the thing. A lot more shows, a lot more touring. For the actual writing process, not really. Like we kind of like locked in pretty well with how we kind of do things. Tried out like a little bit kind of extra production stuff on this one in the studio, which was kind of fun. A lot of like different vocal layering kind of things going on, and a lot of guitars as always. And then there's even a part in there with keys that you probably don't even really notice it all that much, but just to add some different like textures over top.
Yeah, I gotta listen to that with some better speakers or something like that. I'll get that to hear it a bit better.
It's in the bridge. It's in the bridge.
Okay.
Now you'll hear it when you go listen to it.
Yeah, exactly. Now I'll be able to listen for it.
Yeah, it's not anything crazy. It's just kind of like that.
No.
Yeah, like that Queens of the Stone Age thing that they did. You know.
Okay.
But yeah, no, nothing super different. We've been working with. It was the same guy who did Far From Perfect and the record that did Paralysis.
Okay.
As well. And we got another one. There's another single coming out this year in a couple months. So hopefully we can keep the ball rolling pretty good until then. But it's going to be called Nothing at All. And then like it's super cool. You'll probably like that one if you like Far From Perfect. It's got a very Green Day kind of vibe to it, with a little bit of a, our flair in there.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of fun. We've been playing it live. So if you come to the show, you'll hear it.
I'll be there. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Especially now. Yeah, I'll be there.
So you'll hear it then there. People seem to really enjoy it when we play it live because it's just got this very kind of bouncy feel. Yeah. But yeah, so that'll be coming out, and then we're gonna package them on like a 7-inch vinyl.
Nice.
Yeah, like cool old school kind of punk vibe. So thought that was
you'll be hearing from me again when that happens then.
yeah. Thought that was a fun way to kind of give it to the people.
Yeah, definitely. So you said that'll come out in the next few months. So are we expecting the next album maybe sometime next year or end of the year, or don't have an idea right now?
We don't really know yet. It's just odd, like records are a lot of fun to make,
sure,
but they're really expensive, and like with streaming and stuff, it just seems like a really odd way to release music nowadays. We found that the singles get a lot of attention, which is great, but realistically then there's going to be like 4 songs that people just aren't listening to the same because they you're only allowed to push if you have an album, you're only allowed to push a certain amount of singles.
Exactly. Yeah.
Spotify only lets you do that. You can't just kind of like keep putting them out. But if you do it as singles only, you kind of can. So it's almost a weird thing. It's like, I don't know, we might just kind of go for the idea of like just keep putting out singles and then at some point do like a I don't know,
just put them all together after.
A collection. Yeah. Not like I almost want like a greatest hits kind of deal, but just like together as like this is.
Maybe you can call it like Excuses 2025, and just every single you release in that year, or 2025, 2026, something like that.
We're thinking of some kind of like more creative ways like that to kind of go about it. Just because, like it's weird. It kind of sucks when you put all this time and money and effort into these songs that then you're not like. They're kind of gatekeeping you and being like, you're not allowed to really push these ones. Like if your fans listen to them, they listen to them, but you can't get them on playlists and stuff. So then it becomes very difficult to choose, right? For example, our song Wasted Alone, that's like a fan favorite live. Like that's
absolutely
times that I've heard people come up to me and say like, that's my favorite song of yours. and they're singing along live, and everybody's grooving to it. It didn't come out as a single, and it never really did well online because the label wanted something else, and that's totally fair. But I mean, everybody's got their own taste in music, and we really do like to kind of switch things up a bit. Like, you know, we have a couple different styles of songs. Some of them are a little more like alternative rock radio friendly, and some of them are like punk tracks, right? And like, yeah, Wasted Alone is even weirder. Like, it's just like
It's our Weezer song.
yeah, it's like a Weezer. It's almost like a Weezer.
Yeah, there you go.
Like, so yeah, we just like to keep it interesting. And it just kind of sucks being that, you know, if you don't get the opportunity to actually push it, then
Yeah, if it all comes out at the same time, kind of thing.
Yeah,
Like I've seen some bands have started doing, or maybe they stopped doing it now, but after COVID, some bands were just releasing 2 EPs a year instead of releasing an album. Like I saw the Beaches were doing that. It was EP after EP, and it'd be 4 or 5 just really, really tight songs, really good songs, and then release another one in 8 months. And
why not, right? Like whatever you can do. I like that people are getting a little more creative about it. I mean, the reality is, Thomas, the music industry is changing like a lot, and
constantly.
And, and it never stops, especially with all this technology that keeps coming out that is entirely changing the game. But for some reason, a lot of the time it seems that you know, the industry is having a hard time keeping up with itself and how quickly it is changing. The rules change. Everything's based on algorithms and shit like that, right? So
no, it's definitely something you gotta just kind of roll with the punches on that for sure.
Yeah.
So if we're talking about some maybe past experience, so you mentioned a few bands throughout this. You mentioned Weezer. I heard you mention Green Day, Queens of the Stone Age. What are some other maybe influences for Excuses? Or maybe you all listen to different kinds of music? Or
yeah, we all do. I'd say a big one would probably be Billy Talent.
Billy Talent, huge for sure.
I could definitely say here's some Billy Talent in some of your songs.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. Nirvana too. Big Nirvana fan. We and like all of the three of us kind of grew up listening to classic rock. To be fair, like Trevor and I were really big into Black Sabbath when we were younger.
Nice.
Went and saw them actually in 2013. It was pretty cool.
Oh wow. That must have been amazing,
Reformed the original lineup minus the drummer. But yeah, so stuff like that. Jay, you
like listen to a lot of Zeppelin, like The Clash is one of my favorite bands of all time. They got more
The Clash.
like 90s grunge and alternative, and just kind of goes from there.
And then like, I mean, another thing that we found when we were kind of at the turning point from our high school band, Trevor and I, and finding Jay, we started listening to like a lot more like Canadian kind of punk and modern rock and stuff like the Dirty Nil, Pup, the Flatliners, Death from Above.
Flatliners are great,
July Knock, you know, like all these kinds of bands, and trying to kind of broadening our musical horizons a bit.
Nice.
And then they ended up playing like a massive role in kind of our sound, right? Like we definitely get compared also to like the Dirty Nil and Pup every once in a while. Arctic Monkeys, another one, like early Arctic Monkeys though.
Great band, yeah. What would be some other bands out of Oshawa? I know Oshawa is, I believe, it's the automotive capital, if I'm not mistaken, of Canada. But what about music? What are some other local bands out of there?
Some local bands that we've been playing with for a while. Like you got, like, have you ever heard of Crownlands?
Oh, absolutely. I've seen them actually. I saw them open for Kiss a couple of years ago.
Yeah. So they're good buddies of ours. They're Oshawa boys.
Nice.
They actually are the ones.
They're great.
Like when Trevor and I moved to Oshawa, they're the ones who kind of helped us get our feet in the scene because we didn't know what we were doing at the time. And we were new to the city. So I reached out to them, and they hadn't blown up yet or anything. But yeah, so they're really good. Really fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just like the sweetest two people you could possibly talk to. Like they're absolutely.
I know. I couldn't imagine them working for Paul Stanley when they were open for Kiss. I was like, oh man.
Yeah. Yeah, they're just like very reserved and quiet and kind. So they're awesome. Got to give them some love. Also,
yeah, they're great.
Couple friends. We've got like Judgment is I don't even know what you call it, like kind of post-hardcore type of thing, like Alexis on Fire-ish stuff.
Oh, nice. Okay.
They're really good dudes. Played with them quite a few times. And like there's a lot. We actually like have quite a lot of local bands in the scene. Not as many now, but when we moved there was definitely like a ton of bands.
Okay.
We were also playing with bands like Cleopatra, who ended up doing really well.
Extremely well. Yeah.
Like I went to college. I went to college with their singer. And we played shows with them. They weren't local to Oshawa. They were from Coburg, which is just like kind of up the highway 20 minutes or whatever.
Okay.
But yeah, in that area, yeah, just in general, like, Oshawa surrounding area, there is an awful lot of good bands. So it's kind of nice having our own little scene.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely seems like it. And you're playing on Saturday, June 7th at the Handsome Daughter with some great bands as well. So I was talking to Penny Sleeve in April, a few weeks, or I guess a couple months back now. And we were talking about, so when you came here in, was it 2023, you played the Handsome Daughter. You're supposed to play with Dead Levy, and maybe it was Exomerita, I think. No, maybe it's Northern Royals, I think, and Dead Levy. Exomerita filled in for them, or the other way around.
It was Exomerita, yeah.
Okay, other way around. And shout out to Evan from the Northern Royals. That's actually how I found out about you guys back in. Yeah, he's a great guy.
We love the Northern Royals. Good friends.
But let's talk about that concert for a bit, because I don't know how you guys even got here. So there was a huge snowstorm, and Dead Levy didn't even make it. That's why Northern Royals were filling in.
Do we have a story for you?
Here we go. Okay.
So yeah, we played with Dead Levy in Regina the night before, I believe, and then hung out with them, partied a bit afterwards, and then woke up in the morning and it's just fucking like white out, like just the wind blowing so hard across the prairies. And this would have been like early March or something.
Yeah, definitely. I think it was like March 11th or something like that.
Yeah, it's just somewhere around there. But dude,
yeah,
I have never seen the roads like that. Like you could hardly see 50 feet in front of your vehicle.
Yeah. The wind was insane. Yeah.
And so like they called us. We had just had some breakfast and we're getting on the road. And Taylor calls me and it's just like, man, I don't think we can come. Like they tried. They had a trailer hooked to a truck, trying to travel that way. And I think they made it maybe 20 minutes out of Regina. And we're just like, this is not a good idea. And I'm very thankful. Yeah. I'm very thankful that they made that, because like Trevor's driving at one point and we see this. We were driving like a big like Chevy Express van at the time, like those big.
Okay.
We see this van that's kind of in the ditch, and they're just like waving, and we're just like, what? Like, what the fuck is the problem? Hit this patch of black ice, and we spun. Like Trevor's driving, and he's just like spins full 360 into the oncoming traffic lane, and there's a transport truck, like
I can't
right there.
Oh my god!
Fucking right there, 50 feet away. And there's all these pylons in the middle of the road. And Trevor just hammers it over all these pylons, gets it back on the road, and we're just like freaking out. Like that is the closest I've ever been to dying in a car in my entire life. So I can't imagine
driving that with a trailer.
Yeah, driving that with a trailer, you would have been.
Yeah, no doubt. There's no chance. Either way, they're not making it to the show, so there's no point in doing that.
Yeah. So luckily, we called up the Northern Royals, and they did us a solid and came and had a good time. And I mean, like it wasn't very many people came to the show because it was even bad in Winnipeg that day. Like it was.
Oh yeah, I don't live that far from the Handsome Daughter. Just walking there, even from a short distance, was not easy. So driving wasn't good for anyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was definitely, the prairies can be a little bit of a fun, interesting experience at times.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm definitely, like I said, happy you guys still made it. That was a dream show for me. Those are two of my favorite bands, the Northern Royals and Exomerita, and then to see you guys with them, it was a great show. But yeah, it's you guys definitely you earned the spot that night getting out there.
Yeah, it was fun, and it's good. Like we're good friends with both of those bands, so we usually just go hang out afterwards and till way too late generally. But it's a good time. Yeah,
awesome. And I think when I shouted out the show earlier, I did miss, I believe, Screaming at Traffic. So I'm sorry about that. It's Lake Disappointment, Screaming at Traffic, which is a great band, especially live, and then Penny Sleeve, and then you guys. So 4 great bands. The show starts at 8 p.m. I think, or is that the doors open at 8 p.m.?
I'd have to double check, but come for 8 anyway. I'm pretty that's probably doors, but I don't think bands will be on much after that because there is 4. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, but yeah, we've been trying to set up something with Screaming at Traffic for a while because they seem like really nice fellas and
they're wicked. Yeah,
I've heard they're really good live. So it's never really worked out until this time, and finally they let's do it. I'm like, okay, sweet.
Yeah, when I saw that, well, the way your poster is your guys' name at the top. So when I saw the billing, I was like, oh, Penny Sleeve, like Screaming at Traffic. That's a cool. And then I saw at the top, excuse, I was like, oh, there you go. That is a great lineup, definitely. Mm-hmm. Have you got a chance to listen to Lake Disappointment at all? Or where are they from? I don't know a lot about them.
They're from Winnipeg as well.
They are from Winnipeg. Okay, yeah, I haven't really seen too much about them. I've got a chance to listen to them now. They sound great. But
I forget who, when I was booking the tour, I forget who recommended them. What it was, maybe Leon's Getting Larger.
Okay, yeah.
I think they wanted to play the show, but they had I can't remember whether they had another show close to then or they were somebody was out of town or something, so they were kind of bummed out that they couldn't play, but they recommended them to me.
Nice. Okay, yeah, they sound great. I was listening to them on Spotify. Yeah. I think they're going to compliment you guys well, definitely.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, and that's exactly what Leon's Getting Larger said. They're just like, it's like a perfect fit. So just ask them. I was like, cool. Always open.
And like I said, I don't know. Oh, go ahead, sorry.
Always open to finding new bands, right? Meeting.
I was just going to say the same thing, basically. I don't know a lot about them, so I didn't even know they were from Winnipeg. So that's awesome. I'm happy to go check them out there. It's gonna be wicked. So I do have one last question I wanted to ask. So you guys, like, I don't get to travel myself all that much. You guys get to travel a lot more with touring. You don't always have time to see sights, though. I'm sure. Like sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. But one thing you do have time for after a long trip, I'm sure, is an ice cold beer or a beverage, something like that. Do you have any favorite local beers or just a low favorite beer or favorite beverage, anything like that that you look forward to when you go somewhere?
Really big on the Jameson's whiskey. It's not local, but
there you go.
It's a favorite.
It's a favorite. Yeah.
Had maybe a little too much of that last night, actually, with my aunt.
Oh, that'll happen. That's fair.
So
we appreciate making the interview then.
Yeah, and I'm big on beer. Like I really like a lot of different kind of Canadian beers. I love Alexander Keith's. Like when we first started touring, we went up to the East Coast first before we ever came this way. And like every bar was just like, that's what you got is Keith's because it's made out there. And I love it. I'd still like I drink it as my main go-to pretty much all the time still. Yeah.
Nice.
So if that's
that's definitely a good one.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I've never been huge on like the craft beers, personally.
You like a good lager.
Yeah, I like a good lager. And some of them are good. It's just, some of them are kind of hit or miss, right? Like if you're not looking for that kind of hoppy flavor. I do know I've had some of the I think one of the guys in Northern Royals works at a local brewery called Torque.
He does, yeah, that's right. That's Kyle.
So
Kyle there.
some of those. A family friend of mine is like one of the co-owners of Torque.
What
So
was
Oh, nice.
what
yeah,
was the beer that we were in Lethbridge and the dude was like a supplier for some brewery?
I can't remember.
And he gave us
I
like
don't
a
know.
2-4.
Some Alberta-based
Yeah.
beer.
It was awesome. It
Gave
was-
you too many of the beers. You can't remember.
Dude, it was a lot. Like he just they were promotionals, like cases that he couldn't sell because they were the beer was fine, but the
yeah.
itself was damaged, so he couldn't like sell
Oh, okay.
it. So he gave us like two 4s of beer and then a bunch of like small, like
Sour beer.
random kind of different ones, and they
Yeah.
like it's pretty great. I also really like I think you mentioned it, the original 16.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's a really nice one. I think that's Saskatchewan based, is it?
It's definitely Saskatchewan or Manitoba. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I can't
I drink that one too, though.
Yeah, my
It's a good
grandpa.
one.
My grandpa lives in. My grandpa and my nana live in Winnipeg, so I'm very
Nice.
used to the city. Been coming there since I was a kid, and when I was finally able to drink, and they released that original 16, he bought a bunch of those, and yeah, it's always been a staple for me since as well. Because we can't.
Yeah, that's a really good one.
We can't buy it in Ontario. Like it's just not
Mhm.
there. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it's more of a local thing between. I don't know if they have in Alberta, but I definitely know Saskatchewan and Manitoba.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen it in Alberta since we've been here, but
Yeah.
one of the bars had like some merchandise, some original 16 merchandise, so you might be able to get it here.
Oh, there you go. Nice. Well, yeah, that's definitely good stuff.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks for taking the time to talk to us. I want to shout our sponsors one more time. Prairie Alchemist out in St. Malo. Go check them out if anyone's in the St. Malo area. Also, a friend of the show, Curtis Housen, out at First Row Collectibles at 1835 Main Street, has an autograph signing going on this weekend, or this Friday. Sorry, not this weekend. So that's June 6th at 4 p.m. And TNA wrestler Cowboy James Storm is going to be there for an autograph signing, so that'll be huge. And you guys wrestling fans at all, or no?
Yeah. Love it.
Yeah, cool.
Grew up watching it. Yeah. My dad's a big wrestling guy, so Trevor would be at my
Nice.
and we'd watch wrestling all the time.
Nice, that's awesome. Yeah, I grew up watching wrestling. Me and my best friend Eric are big wrestling fans too, so
Nice.
that's awesome. Yeah, I'm hoping I can get out there. That'll be, like I said, June 6th. It's at 4 p.m., 1835 Main Street. Anything you guys want to say before we sign off here?
No, come to the show. Enjoy some good punk rock. Woo.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Handsome Daughter,
Handsome
June
daughter.
7th, 8 p.m.
Be there.
Awesome. Well, thanks for taking the time to talk to us, guys. I really appreciate it.
Man.
You have a great
Nice to meet you. Looking forward to meeting you at the show.
Yeah, I'll be there. I'll see you Saturday, definitely.
Cool.
I know.
Awesome. Thanks, Thomas. Appreciate it.
Awesome. Thanks. And thanks for everyone for watching. Take care.